The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of We're Done Here Pod. Please make sure you follow us on Instagram at We're Done Here Pod. You can find all the likes to our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're watching this. And thank you so much. This week we're here with hilarious comedian Dan Wickes.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Going good. Happy to be here.
Ah, nice. So I met Dan. When did I meet you? A few years ago?
Yeah, I think we met on Zoom during the pandemic.
Oh, that's true. We met on Zoom. I had no idea about that. Okay, your hair pink. So Dan got new pink hair. It's looking good, Dan.
Thanks.
So Dan's a comedian here out in New York City. He controls the roast battle scene. I don't know if I can say that because I know the roast battle scene is a little. I don't know. You can't say who controls it, but isn't it you, Dan?
I mean, maybe you can't say it into a microphone. But I do what I do, and so do other people.
I know that's true. So I actually like your roast battles because roast battles are known for being sexist, racist, all this homophobic. But I feel like you have a wide range of there's a lot of women, a lot of queer people. I participate in your roast battles often, and I'm a black woman, which is rare for the roast scene, Dan.
Yeah, I know. I can't. I don't know. I keep making that mistake.
But you've curated a good bunch of roasters, I would say. So when did you start doing comedy, or when did you get into roasting, rather?
Honestly, I got into roasting almost immediately after I got into comedy. It was
really?
within 3 months because Marin was running his show and he recruited me just from seeing me at the
cool.
at the Buddha mics.
Shout out to Matt Marin, Comedy Fight Club. Yes.
Yeah.
The other roast people in New York City.
Yeah. But he just saw he used to be at those mics, and that used to be where he would pull people from, and I was somebody he saw. And he ended up he put me in my first battle, which ended
Who'd you
up
battle?
I battled without getting into too detail. It was someone who I had a very who at the time had a brief thing going on with. Who,
a lady friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Matt didn't know this, and the battle ended up being very bad because we were both very nervous.
Oh,
and,
okay. This is interesting.
It was literally
so you battled a girlfriend, a lady friend.
Yeah.
And okay, that's interesting. And who won?
I did because we went to overtime. We both bombed.
Okay.
Then we went to double overtime. She didn't have another joke, so I won by default. And everyone was mad at me because they loved her. She was supposed to be the rising star, and now I was advancing in the tournament, and everyone was very mad.
Oh, I love this. So much drama.
Yeah, but then the next week I was up against a guy who was supposed to wash me, and the opposite happened, and then they all loved me from that point forward.
Oh, nice. And that's how you became Rose King.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So last year, you went to Skankfest last year.
Yeah.
Awesome. South by Southwest. Good stuff. You're crushing it in the roast scene. And what do you like doing better, regular stand-up or roasting?
I'd say I prefer regular stand-up. I wish that I was as in demand for regular stand-up as for the roast.
You're from Long Island, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you live in New York City now? Long Island is not New York City, everyone.
Yeah. I live in Bushwick. I have for the last 8 years.
Oh, wow. I hate Bushwick. But people love it. Yeah, it's a crack den, but whatever. We're going to pretend it's cool. As a native New Yorker, I remember when it was crack hell. So I love that. I love that. And then so you actually have another show. You have a show called Pop Collar 2, which is in Bushwick. I've done. How long have you been running that show? I feel like everyone
also
goes to
about
that
8
show.
years.
Yeah, you've been doing everything for 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 years is a lucky number. But this is We're Done Here Pod. So we're going to talk about, our topic today is talking about an issue that I think is interesting because this whole time I thought you were autistic, Dan, but you actually have Tourette's. So it's a different thing than what I thought about. So yeah, I actually didn't know you. I just found out you had Tourette's recently.
Also, she said autistic, not artistic, if anybody was wondering.
I don't know when I found out you had Tourette's, but I don't know why I thought it was autism this whole time.
Actually, I have a joke I open in my 5 that I talk about how people think I'm autistic, but it's Tourette's.
I know. Wait, I think that's how I found out. I was like, wait, you've been had Tourette's this whole time? Anyway, but we've never had someone with Tourette's on the show. Not that I'm being excited about your journey. We'd love to hear it. So what is Tourette's, first of all? People want to know that.
Well, it basically comes down to involuntary tics. That's literally like what it is, both motor and verbal. And I have a few verbal ones. They're mostly physical.
Got it. And then how do you get diagnosed with something like that? Is it like as a little kid or something?
Yeah, you go to doctors. Well, I really got I'd been to a few doctors, and really the one that gave me the final diagnosis, and we kind of just go with that one because it makes the most sense, and two, we were kind of just like the more people said this than didn't. Was they when I was 15, one of them said, yeah, it's Tourette's, which was what the doctor said when I was like 7. My parents were like, nah. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you were told it was Tourette's when you were 7, but then your parents were like, nah, chill, it ain't that.
Yeah.
And then at 15, they accepted it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you know other people growing up with Tourette's, or was it like just you?
Well, there was another kid who I was told had Tourette's, but he was like medicated and supposedly, and I was never medicated. I do kind of wonder what things might have been like if I was, but when but also like, who knows what his stuff really is. I asked him to describe it once, and he did, and I guess I believe him because you're supposed to, and but yeah, his stuff I seemed like it was much more like there are different like levels of things. I've had other people tell me they have it. I've other people who've like very visibly had it, and also like I'm sure that the way that these people make me feel who have it, what seems like a more minor version, is how when I see a person with a more like severe one, I probably make them feel.
I can see that. I can definitely.
Because I know one
that.
guy who's got like very severe Tourette's, like verbal.
And once he starts yelling,
he like mid conversation has like verbal tics.
like fuck you. There was a guy like that in school. He would just start cursing. Is that normal or?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Yeah, I mean, if you have that type, then yeah.
A guy. Okay, that makes sense. So you get this diagnosis when you're 15. How does it impact your school life, or does it? I don't know.
Well, I've always been like, I've always like been someone who put my head down a lot, kind of shaked a lot. I've done like a lot of physical things. I used to have like really severe physical tics where like I would like scratch my chest really intensely. I would like flap my hands up and down. When I was like younger, people would like do them back at me, and that wasn't a lot of fun. But this is a more fun story. Like, so I got when I was like in middle school, everyone was getting head lice.
Yeah. Oh.
and then I developed like a head scratching tic. So I kept getting called into the nurse office, checked for lice, and I never had it.
Okay, you're just doing your,
Yeah, it happened like probably like 7 or 8 times. Like the 9th time or so, they called me. I was like, oh, why are we doing this? We know I don't have lice. And then they're like, your sister has lice. I'm like, God damn it. Yeah. But I still didn't have it, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right, so I'm interested in, you said something about medication. So I didn't know that if you have Tourette's, you take medication. Or is that something you take? Do you take medication now?
I don't.
Or not really?
So
you don't.
Yeah, it's not something I really looked into.
Like, it could have. Do you want to, or you're not sure?
I mean, at this point, it seems kind of ridiculous too. Like,
oh yeah, you're like, I'm too old to be.
Like, what am I gonna do?
I made this all with the Tourette's. But so in terms of learning or even like finishing high school, did that impact you in any way, or like do you have brothers and sisters? Like, how were they feeling, or like did your parents not care, or like what?
Yeah,
did they really care?
I mean, yeah, like, I think it probably made me just miserable all the time, which isn't,
That's not good.
Yeah, in that sense, it impacted. I definitely, who knows? Maybe it was that. Maybe it was just my own bad attitude towards the world. But I definitely had like in terms of all sorts of school, my attitude was always, I want to be here as little as possible. I just wanted to
I had that same attitude too, but mostly because I was like, too cool for them. Got it.
Yeah.
Did you go to college or did you?
But it was like, so when I was in high school, I would like I took as few classes as I needed to, but I was taking like harder classes, but just like, I would just try to have as many free periods as possible.
Yeah.
And then when college, I chose a school because it let me take the most AP credits. That was like most of the reason I chose it. Like also I got to live in New York, which was cool, but
what school did you go to?
I went to NYU Poly.
A lot of people never went to NYU.
Yeah, although it's not really the same. Like I went to Poly, which is in Brooklyn.
Oh, which is the engineering school.
Yeah, like we weren't like allowed into NYU
You're like,
buildings.
I'm not NYU like that. I'm engineering school.
No,
NYU.
but I mean, it's literally like it's literally like it's more like a prison. Like they keep you in Brooklyn. You don't get to go in their buildings. They're like our school's like 80% guys. It's like I didn't go to NYU.
Probably. I can see that. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. So you went to uncool NYU. And then how was school like in terms of like making friends? Do you like, because the thing about it is I've known you for like a little bit for now, never knew you had Tourette's. It doesn't come up in conversation. It's like, do you tell people or do you just like keep it to yourself? Like what happens?
Every once in a while, like I'll do something and like people might react to it and I explain.
So you've never done nothing in front of me? I mean, you do weird things all the time, but
well, that's the thing. That's the worst thing too. Is sometimes they just don't say anything most of the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, you do weird things all the time, but then you're like, oh, I'm just not gonna say anything. Okay, people just find out when they find out.
Yeah. Like the alternative is like I just hold a card like I'm in the Joker movie.
That's hilarious. But like in terms of making friends, did anyone ever make a big deal out of it? Do you feel like, did people ever make fun of you or did you ever feel self-conscious? Like, how do you navigate the universe?
I mean, yeah, definitely when I was younger, they did both of those things. It was people made fun of me and I felt self-conscious. I definitely felt self-conscious about most of my life, but I didn't really go to a school where there was that much bullying, thankfully.
Oh, that's nice. In Long Island? What part of Long Island are you from? The Jewish part?
Yeah.
I'm about to be like, you definitely weren't with those Italians.
Oh, we lucked out because all the Italians went to, like, because they hated the Jews, they would all go to Catholic school. So we went like...
I'm like, where in Long Island they're not making fun of people? Okay, cool.
And then my parents were not afraid of Jews, so I got to stay in.
Nice.
Yeah, even though I am Italian. And my dad went to Catholic school. I think my mom hated that. Like, okay, so there was no chance of me going to Catholic school.
I love that story. Okay, that's cool though.
Yeah.
So you're at NYU Poly, which is
also it's ridiculous to go to Catholic school on Long Island, North Shore. Like the districts are great.
Yeah, it is Long Island. It's just like it's like going to Catholic school in Queens. Like a bunch of people went to Catholic school in Queens. I'm just like, these are horrible schools. Anyway, so you're in NYU Poly. You're hanging out in the city. Like how is it getting jobs and stuff like that? Do you always have to, do you tell job interviewer people or do you like, I don't know, because you're like Poly, that's engineering. Do they just think you're weird just because?
I mean, yeah, every job I've ever had has been like math or like science involved in some way. So like even before I was like even before I had like my job now where I'm a software engineer, I was like tutoring math at like tutoring centers. So it's never been,
So all the guys are a little strange then.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, it's me, normal, a normal Dan Wickes. So 8 years ago, how did you get into comedy then? From a software engineer, is it something like what happened?
I've always loved comedy. It was honestly I got into comedy part of it because just feeling like self-conscious and not good about myself. When I was like, I really got addicted to watching like specials and
wait, who's specials?
Well, I started by watching like comedy movies. I mean, probably the first comic I really got into was George Carlin.
Oh yeah, George is the best. Yes.
And then from there also then like Louis C.K. and like and Dave Chappelle and guys like that. But then when I was self-conscious when I was younger about just like being a loser and not being able to connect with people. And this was a time where I thought the cool kids, what they would do when they would watch the comedy movies, they're popular, and then they put the quotes into conversations.
Wait, they would watch popular comedy movies and then quote them. I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, it used to be a whole thing.
They used to quote movies.
Yeah,
like,
so I always tried to watch all the movies because we had a DVR. So I would just
watch. Are you sure you're not autistic? This autistic behavior, Dan. Anyway.
So yeah, I would watch like every Judd Apatow movie. I would watch like Anchorman. I would watch like Beer
say
Fest.
The stupid shit. Yeah. Okay. No, that's very. Yeah, I guess that did happen. You're right. That's so. I hate when guys come up to me and say dumb shit like. Anyway.
And I would watch like. So then I would watch like Aziz Ansari special because I saw him in the movies, or I'd watch like someone else's. And,
got it.
Yeah, but But then I really started comedy. It was just because I was feeling unfulfilled at my job because I was working so hard. And then one day they just I was an iOS developer.
Okay.
And I was working on that app like crazy, like day and night, from I would go to meetups and then keep working. And then I would go on Saturdays and I would just keep working for a few months. Yeah, because I just wanted to learn everything I could. And then one day they just canceled the app. And
really?
They kept me on. They reassigned me, but it was like, oh wow, so I could have just done nothing for the last 3 months. They did
pay you. I'm assuming
they did. Yeah, but it's like, yeah.
Okay, so that's so interesting. I like that. I kind of started comedy because I was bored as well. It was kind of a fluke, so I like that part of your story. So when you first started comedy, do you talk about the fact? Well, like I said, you don't mention it. So does people just? They just thought you, because everybody's a little weird in comedy. So it's another environment where everyone's a little strange. So no one asks you any questions anyway? Or did people ask you questions?
No, it's the opposite. Well, everyone asks me, because the people in comedy are immature alcoholics. They're people who can't function in the real world.
Yeah, that's true.
You thinking where you think I get asked more inappropriate questions? In my professional job, in my professional life, or in the world
Probably
of alcoholics?
Okay, in comedy.
Yeah. Where do you think more people have approached me and said, hey, sorry if this is a weird question, but are you autistic?
Okay, fine. In comedy. Yeah, I got that. Okay, so how do you deal with that in comedy? Of people being annoying all the time?
You just handle it, because I wake up tomorrow and I get to function in society and they have to be that.
No, that's true. I get that.
I got sent a picture of a guy. So, this is a thing now that people take stories of every comic that was up at their open mic.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, yes, that's what happens at open mics now. They take stories of everyone. And someone sent me a screenshot. Some dude went up with an obvious stain at the bottom of his sweatshirt of exactly what you think.
Ew! I'm so happy I don't do open mics anymore. I can't. It's why I couldn't do the open mic. That's why I started my own open mic, because I was like, I'm not hanging out with these degenerate little white kids. Sorry. Because it usually was a bunch of little white boys. I'm just like, I am a grown woman, and no, thank you. Disgusting people. Yeah. Anyway, if you've never been to an open mic, audience members, you have no idea. One time, a guy, when we were doing, he started peeing in the middle of the open mic. He started peeing,
in his pants.
No, just started peeing. He walked to the back because he walked and started peeing. I was like, that's the most outrageous thing.
Wait, hold on. I'm having.
Wait, do you know the guy who did that?
No, I don't. What exactly is? So he went to the bathroom and started.
No. We were on stage.
You were on
and
stage.
He literally pulled out his penis and walked to the back and started peeing.
Oh my.
Yeah, so
was it part of a bit?
No. It was kind of he was just belligerent, but anyway, that was part of his thing. I don't know. Anyway, that's why I don't do open mics. But anyway, back on topic. How is dating for you? You seem to have a lot of ladies though, Dan Wickes.
I don't know how I'm giving off that impression.
I feel like you got lady stories. So how's dating with Tourette's and stuff like that?
It's probably not great, honestly. I feel like most of my interactions with women have been initiated by them.
Okay, I mean that's cool. The bitch is coming up to you.
Yeah.
Well, but you would like to choose some ladies as well.
Yeah, that would.
I get what you're saying. I actually have a friend actually a lot of guys are like that. Actually, a lot of guys don't do much work, but I have friends where I have aggressive lady friends, and all the boyfriends they got, they've picked them up. So that happens sometimes. So the girls come up to you, and you would like to go up to them more. Do you have how do you deal with do you have a therapist? Do you write? Do you journal?
Yeah, I have a therapist, but he's everyone criticized me for this. I've had 2 therapists in my life that I've had for
you?
Well, I mean, it's funny because he's lived a crazy life, which I think kind of makes him ideal for me.
Okay.
Because he's a comedy fan, and people are like, all right, I already hate that. Yeah.
Well, I don't like the fact that he's a comedy fan and he's your therapist or whatever. I don't know this man.
Anyway, especially he caught me at the perfect time too, because I tried a different session with this woman who was very mean to me.
Oh, why was she mean to you?
I don't know. Within the first 5 minutes, she was like, I don't think you really have Tourette's. She said
no.
something about she yelled at me for something. She yelled at me for something else about not about she yelled at me for like saying that for like saying that I might do something like self-destructive. I was like, just
Wait,
making
what?
a joke. Yeah.
She sounds
and she was
crazy.
like, yeah, it was wild. It wasn't something I was expecting. It was, and then I talked to this guy who's like a comedy fan. He's clearly having so much fun talking to me. They're like, this is so much better.
I guess it's annoying because he's having way too much fun. He's not supposed to be having that much fun talking to you.
No, but he gets, but also he's like smart. He gets it. I've described like other therapists. He's like, I'm sorry, there's so many just morons in our profession.
I can see that. There's morons in every profession.
I had this old therapist. We were talking about dating, and he told me like, why don't you just approach women in the grocery store?
What? That's creepy. Do not approach women in any grocery store.
I literally said to him, it felt crazy because I'm like not the therapist. I shouldn't be the one having these thoughts. I'd be like, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Women do not want to be approached.
And he goes like straight. This is what he said. He says, "Well, I guess you must not go to Whole Foods."
What? What is this man doing at Whole Foods? Okay, yeah, don't listen to that guy at all.
Or go to Whole Foods.
or maybe go to Whole Foods, I guess. Okay, so that's really interesting. It sounds like you've been kind of like, you have a therapist, you kind of like do your comedy thing, even though the girls, come up to you. At least they come up to you, sir. It sounds like you're like you have supportive parents and family.
Yeah, they're all super supportive.
Okay, so that's good. That's a
Although
really
again, also though it's easy to be supportive because like I have a job, so like if I didn't have like a real,
I'm not a loser, so it's very easy to be supportive. So what do you think? What do you think is the hardest thing about having Tourette's then?
A lot. Well, I mean, like not being. I mean, a lot of it like self-esteem issues. Also, like being able, like I got like sometimes I like shake a lot at night, and that's been like an adjustments because I've like if I make too much noise, then like there's neighbors now that live in the city, so I gotta like so I gotta be very conscious of that. Whether that's like taking stuff to like fall asleep better or like just really doing whatever I can to not have issues. I mean, well, actually, this is kind of like a worrying time of year because I usually can like try to blow off steam by like walking around outside or something, but it's like so cold.
But it's so cold outside. Got it. So it gets a little harder. Do you work out?
I had just started going back to the gym. I came down with a bit of a cold, so I didn't go for a few days. I'm gonna try to get back into it. I also have asthma, so that makes it like when I like fall off the wagon, I fall off hard.
I get it, because then you have to work harder to get back in shape and all that. Yeah, it's super annoying. I don't have asthma, but I'm generally fat, so every time if I don't work out every day, I gain lots of weight, and then like I don't know, just like it's harder to get back to working out. But I'm doing it, whatever. Okay, that kind of sucks, those things, but I will say it could be worse. Do you have any tips for anyone else who has Tourette's?
I say, quit while you're ahead. No, I mean, it's, it's not it could be worse. I mean, definitely like take care of yourself, get enough sleep, go to the gym. If you try to manage your stress, those are like the most important things. Figure out what your triggers are and try to try to manage your tics. Like if you do a lot of this, try doing this, like.
I know. Okay. Yeah. Do this instead. Okay. That's really helpful advice. Okay, thank you. That is really great advice to our listeners. Are there any like hotline? Is there like support groups or like I don't know. I don't want to say hotline.
I've never been in a support group.
Are there like online groups? Or have you been in any groups like group things?
Nah, I've never been involved in anything like that.
Okay,
yeah.
Dan's too cool for that. But I'm sure if any of our listeners,
actually, here also like be eclectic. Like make it look like all this stuff's a choice. Dye your hair, paint your nails.
Yes,
wear rings.
Wear rings. Okay, got it. Okay, that is great advice. I'm sure there's some sort of hotline out there or Facebook group where everyone could connect on Tourette stuff. But yeah, thank you, Dan Wickes, for sharing your story with us. I really appreciate it. So we're done here. So we're not necessarily done with Tourette's, but we are dealing with it. Is there anything you're not done with, pop culture or otherwise?
Not done with in pop culture.
Or just otherwise. You can name anything. Like, what are you vibing on right now?
So like things that I'm liking. Let's see. I've been I guess the I listen to a lot of music, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What music you listening to?
Mostly like lyrical rap. Like
Lyrical
big
rap.
into,
What's
like,
that? Was that like just rap lyrics?
Like rap, but like not stuff that you would put on at a party.
Oh,
Like,
got it. Like more people talking.
yeah, like Earl Sweatshirt. Like,
boring rap.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't dance to this. Okay, got it.
Yeah, like MF Doom.
Oh, no time for that. Okay, got it. I'm like, oh, this is so boring. Anyway. But nice. Lyrical rap. Okay. So you're not done with lyrical rap.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what am I not done
Also-
with? I don't even know. Let's see. I probably should have thought about this before I start. Oh, you know what I'm not done with?
What?
Listen. So you know Percy Jackson and the Olympians or
Yeah.
some shit like that? Anyway, they got a new show on
Oh, yeah.
Disney Plus. Are you watching it?
No.
Anyway, I'm watching that shit. And here's the thing. Percy, the movie, that shit was corny. But this little boy and his little friends and whatnot, they out here on the Disney Channel, they doing it. They fighting monsters. I'm into it, Dan Wickes. Yeah, so I don't even know if that's a name. It's a Percy Jackson and somebody else. That's a black name, right? Percy Jackson?
It sounds, yeah, you know what? That's interesting. It does sound like a black name. It's
It
weird that's a
does.
white kid on the
But
cover.
it is some little white kid. But he's really entertaining. So yeah, I'm not done with that.
It doesn't seem very fair. You can turn your nose up at MF Doom and then you throw out Percy Jackson, the Olympics.
Listen, this is my podcast. Anyway. But thank you so much for coming, Dan. Thank you for having us. Is there anywhere our guests can find you?
Every Saturday at Pop Collar Comedy Show at a House Party Cafe in Bushwick.
That's
Every
true.
other Wednesday at Grove 34 for Roasted. And when's this episode coming out?
It is coming out in February.